On today's episode of the Command Center podcast, we are previewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The wait is finally over. We get to talk about actual football. We're going to talk about the offense. It's a new look group. Yep. What are they going to bring? We all can't wait to see the defense. How do they stop Mike Evans? And we have a brand new segment.
Hell yeah.
And hell no.
It all starts right now. Welcome to the Command Center podcast, the People's Choice Podcast Award nominee. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss.
Yeah.
And guys, just to remind you, I think the voting for this People's Choice Podcast Award is done tomorrow.
Yes,
so
complete.
make sure you check your inboxes, look for that email, send it back, and hopefully we win
guys,
something.
I'm proud that we was even nominated. like, let's just be honest. I'm proud we was nominated because it was a lot of podcasts up there. So I'm proud. So thank the fan base for showing us support. Hey, man.
This is one of the first times that I would say I will accept a moral victory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with just being
You don't like more victory.
No, at all. At all.
So that's exciting. We got a lot of football to talk about today. Lots of football to talk about. We're previewing the Commanders Tampa Bay game.
Yep.
But first,
let's talk more victories with animals.
More victories with animals.
No, there ain't no more victories.
Because this is kind of taking on a life of its own. The comment section's always talking about you can't beat a gorilla, you couldn't beat a bear, there's no animal you could beat.
Yeah.
And so Jason, our producer, went online and looked up. What was it, Jason? You looked up?
I looked up
animals that have been beat by man.
Confrontations with animals, men with bare hands, and if they survived or not, and then what the result of that
So
was.
basically what you're telling us is the Romans were a stronger group than us.
Well, they also took weapons in. We're talking about
just bare hands. Like, me versus
I'm in the woods and this thing approached me.
Well, listen, I am from Mississippi now, and I done been in them woods and ran into a bear. And
Have you?
And my folks had to pray for that bear. That's all I'm telling you.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something that you don't think is dangerous that I don't think none of y'all can handle, and that's at least a 4-point deer. If you run into a deer in the woods,
mess with a deer, no.
Man, a deer would kick you to the ground.
Dude, have you seen those videos of people
play.
walking out to their car in the morning and they surprise the deer and the deer just runs right into them?
No, listen to me. A deer will mess you up, dude.
I was riding my bike the other night and seen 4 deers, and they surprised me. They was in the dark, and I had my light on, and I blinded them, and they went to just scatter. And I'm like, please don't come this way, run that way, please, because you can't outrun them. And one of the things about it is crazy because it's like they're not trying to hurt you, but they just don't know what else to do.
They trying to protect themselves is what they doing. So is it any animal? Come on, we part of the 1% alpha male group. Yeah. Is it any animal we can beat with our bare hand?
Yeah, I could beat a deer.
No,
no,
you can't.
Have you seen the video? There is a video out there of a kangaroo that grabbed this dude's dog.
And put him in the headlock.
And the guy goes up and boxes the kangaroo.
Dude, also, if we're talking about crazy internet stuff,
there's
the dude who jumps in the lake after his dog gets bit and wrestles the dog away from an alligator.
Alligator. No. My dog? That's the last time I'm going to see it.
Burr, burr, burr.
That's the last time. No. What about a... Well, Florida having a problem with pythons now. So do you think because people got pets and they letting them into the Everglades. Yeah. Do you think you can handle a python in the water?
No.
In the water?
No.
In the water.
Man.
Probably not. I wouldn't feel very comfortable or very confident, but I think so.
Yeah, you got to poke the eyes out.
Dude, are you just making stuff up?
Man, I'm telling you how to survive.
You got to get the eyes first.
Obviously.
It's not going to be like, here are my eyes.
Volume 10.
All right, so actual reporting here.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So apparently a Colorado man fought off a mountain lion.
Yeah, it was an adolescent mountain lion.
I would say it was not a grown mountain lion.
Yeah. But he did jiu-jitsu. I think it was 90 or 100 pounds. Dude, you could choke that out. It's it's going to scratch you up. I'm not saying you're going to feel great afterwards, but you can survive that.
All right.
But what would you do if you were walking through the woods, just minding your own business? You just seen a dude over there wrestling the mountain lion.
Well, hopefully I'd go over and help him out.
I'm running.
Whatever trail I was on, I'm wide now. I'm gonna be walking this way.
No, because us. The first thing we're gonna do is pick up our phone. Is that a dude?
I ain't picking my damn phone up. I'm gonna mind my business. That's what my. Oh, let me stop. Yeah. Because I'm about to say something I want to say. He can't even bleep that one out. Yeah. No, but what I'm saying and what I meant is that's what people's problem is. It's, they don't mind their business and then they end up being eaten by that damn mountain lion and the dude.
Hey, get off their territory.
Dude, like those people at Yellowstone that are like trying to take pictures with the bison and they get really close and the bison runs them over. It's like, that's a wild animal, dude.
The animal don't know how to abide by your rules.
Yeah.
All right? At the end of the day, a buffalo, listen, do you know how big an elk is? Nobody ever talks about an elk, but I don't know if you ever seen one walk across the street. Huh? It's bigger than your car.
Bigger than your car?
It's bigger than your car.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it is. They are huge.
I'm gonna Jason, read your thing. I'm gonna fact check an elk's size.
Elks are very, very.
I know they're big, but like
they are huge. So what animal is the most dangerous? That kills more people than any person. Kills more people a year.
You told us on the last show.
I did.
Hippo.
Yes, it's the hippo.
Fred. All right, here we go. Let's get to it.
Okay, a Ugandan man killed a lion.
Dude, how big was the lion?
So
he killed Mustafa.
The problem with this reporting is that the lion, after he killed him, he like butchered it.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't know how big it is.
So he says he killed the lion with just his bare hands, but there's no autopsy report, basically. He's like, oh, yeah, just trust me.
I trust him. If anybody going to get the job done. Come on, it's around him. I always say if it's in your environment, you can handle it. Like, I'm from Mississippi, Louisiana, so it's a lot of animals that's there that other people don't have to take on. All right? Most people don't even know the difference between a crocodile and an alligator. They're different.
I'm a human being.
I'm around dogs every day, and I ain't trying to get bit by a dog. Yeah. I ain't trying to see myself in that situation. I don't care if it's a chihuahua. You know what I'm saying?
I find the felines more intimidating because you cannot run from them. You can't climb a tree.
Yeah, big cats are scary.
Big cats are scary. Like, if they want you dead, you are dead.
Yeah.
Montana. 2 guys were camping, and they fought and killed a grizzly bear.
This is the wrestlers?
Yes.
There was like a bunch of high school wrestlers. They went and they saved their buddy.
They went on purpose.
They killed the bear? The one I read?
Look, I'm not an investigative journalist. I just clicked on the link and read the first couple sentences. It said they killed the grizzly bear. That's what it said. Yeah. I didn't read how big it was or anything. I personally don't care how big it is. It's a grizzly bear. Yeah.
Did they use bare hands?
Yeah. Well, they didn't have anything, like they didn't have weapons. I don't know if they were like choked it out. Maybe they grabbed a stick.
I don't know.
I want no smoke.
How did they kill it? They had to choke it out. That's your only thing. To cut off the oxygen.
I mean, you could pick up a rock maybe. If you had a knife, maybe. I don't know. The Revenant.
I just don't want to be in that situation where I have to think about what I'm going to use with this bear, against this bear. I don't want to even have to be in those situations. Like,
you want a Boy Scout?
Why do people? I know. I never wanted to be a Boy Scout.
I was.
I don't want to be.
I had a Jerry curl.
Nobody was.
Like I say, I had to get it out of my head.
What the Jerry curl got to do with the boy?
Because he said that the scent of the Jerry curl juice would attract animals. So he told me to leave my sprayer.
What?
You know how you had a little
story went? No, you know how you had like the little high top fade.
Yeah.
And the guys put the little kid in it.
You had a little Duke.
I had the little Duke in my head, and then so my Scoutmaster Kevin told me before we going out here, check this out. You might need to leave.
Take your curl out.
Take the juice out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He like, because it attract wild animals. And I was like, well, okay. And I went in there, I had my little wet cap on, and my homeboy talked about me. It was so fun. I enjoyed it.
I'm not up on what do you call the oil you put in your hair? Duke.
Duke.
I'm not up on that.
You're so young.
I'm not up on that.
Yeah, you're not.
But if you have any inside information, audience, leave a comment.
It's kind of relaxed.
I had a Duke one time, and I put it in. I didn't get the curl. It went straight. I had a wop side fade. Yeah. I'm like, damn. Boy, you know you got some bad hair when you don't get the curl.
Then what it do is softens the hair.
Yeah, I understand. But I'm saying like the fact you couldn't wear it when you were camping.
Yeah,
well, he was just giving me insight.
Yeah.
Like, don't get close to the fire because your head is flammable.
Dude, yeah, I mean, that's that one I get. Yeah.
After what happened to Michael Jackson, his curl caught on fire.
What?
Pepsi did you not know the Pepsi commercial? Michael Jackson hair caught on fire. Yeah. You don't remember them? Get it off.
I don't remember that.
He was not born on that time. Yeah, I think he's 10 years younger than me.
I keep forgetting. You just look old.
You're not really old. We was around 10 years old when that happened.
Man, come on.
All right, enough of animals and Jerry curls and fires. Let's talk about some football. What do you think here? All right. So the Washington Commanders have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming up. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the expectations, highest of levels, for the offense? Sorry, knocked your mic. Going into this Week 1 matchup versus Tampa Bay.
for the first 4 weeks of the season, legitimately the most unpredictable team in the NFL we are. All right? You don't know what our offense looks like. You don't know what Cliff Kingsbury wants to do. You don't know what our running game looks like. You don't know what he want to do.
He wanted to say Cliff and Kingsbury at the same time.
Did it rub together?
Yeah, it rubbed together.
What was it? Cliff Kingsbury?
Cleanberry. I knew what he was talking about.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Y'all laugh, so
It's a hard name to say.
I left you alone.
It's a hard name to say 5 times in a row. It is. All right. Cliff. All right.
Yeah, I got
Coach Kingsbury.
Yeah, perfect.
They don't know what to expect from this offense. So for the first 4 weeks, everybody gonna be playing on their heels. They're gonna play safer defenses against us to understand what we are doing. So if we're ever gonna lead off hot, it's gonna be now. All right, and they understand. We have the capability to run the ball, and not just with the 2 running backs, with the quarterback. Yeah. That's the X factor. When you have that on a defense says, no, let's bend but don't break.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to give him confidence early and let him make a big play.
You asked for high expectations or high what?
Just a high level, like general expectations for the team. I think Fred kind of hit on the head there.
I think he hit it down the head. I think also too, when you look at it, the one thing you could bank on in any offense, I mean, and we don't know this offense yet. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen these guys run, Cliff's offense.
Yep.
But we know of his offense, and I think the one thing we can bank on being something of a norm for us is leaning on our run game. I think if you hand the ball off to B-Rob and knowing what we can do with the quarterback, that's going to be something that I feel like that's going to be our, I guess you can say,
bread and butter.
Bingo. You know what I mean? Something that we can all say, hey, at the end of the day,
we can do this.
We can do this. And this is going to set up whatever we do outside. And I really don't know. Like I say, I really don't know. I want us to come out slinging it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want us to come out just be that team that we expect this offense to be, spread out, sling it all around the park. But I think having B-Rob, to me, I really think B-Rob going to have one of those seasons that we've been waiting on.
I think it's going to be a lot of RPOs. Let him be the distributor, not just in the pass game, but the distributor in the run game.
Yeah.
Giving him these big windows to throw in. That's why I say you start off running. So when he started to throw in them windows and you want him to get that 3rd and 9 completion, that window is huge.
Yeah.
Just make the play. So I say, let him be the ball handler, kind of like Steve Nash in this thing from the beginning, and give him easy throws. I don't want his first couple of weeks for him to be out there making all 50-50 throws. I don't think that's where I want him at. No.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, the run game stuff, because they have Anthony Lynn. He's been a part of some very diverse run schemes. You got Brian Johnson, the quarterback coach, was a part of that Philadelphia run scheme. So they can do anything. They can do zone read with the quarterback, like you're saying. They can do RPO. They can have a more quarterback-centric run system. I don't know if you want to do that with Jaden because of his body type. The thing I would just call attention to is with Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, head coach, kind of defensive coordinator for Tampa Bay, is their one thing that they want to do probably more than anything is stop the run. So they run a 3-4 base defense, right? So 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers. Those linebackers are like edge-setting thumpers. So that's like traditional, like heavy personnel, right? So when you watch them last year, like they'll be in 3-4 personnel versus 11 versus like 3 wide receiver sets, which is very unusual. So what I would say is, to Tana's point, if I want to run the ball, it's going to look a little different than how I would normally do it. I want to spread them out. I want to get in.
Go 3 wide,
get in 10,
and run downhill.
Get into 10, see if you can get them out of that heavy personnel, see if you can get them saying, oh, let's go on our 4-down look with our 2 linebackers. Because I do think you're going to have to run the ball, but just Todd Bowles, like the genesis of his defense is stopping the run.
And then with that being said, just knowing how cover 2 kind of, gives you those different lanes, those different avenues you can throw the ball in too. I mean, some of the things that I love when you face cover 2 team is the high-low aspect. You know what I mean? I love hitting corners in those cover 2 holes and knowing that, okay, I'm gonna play these games with them. I'm running this under right over here. I'm running this hitch over here to set up this corner from this tight end or to set up this corner from this slot guy, and then eventually that corner tends to drop back a little bit. Now I'm throwing that under. Now I'm throwing that hit. So I mean, it's not an easy defense to go out there and just, you know what I mean? But also when you have a young quarterback, you got to think about how they going to be pinning their ears back saying, let's come after him too.
Well, that's why.
Make him show us that he can read this stuff and know what to do when we send his heat.
Yep, that's why you got to love Biotish in this thing. Because Biotish and Vita Vea is where everything starts and ends. All right, the center and the nose guard. Ain't too many nose guards left in this league.
Yeah.
He is one of them. So you want to talk about stopping the run? I got 2 words for you. That's Vita Vea. We got to move him out of there.
Yeah.
Between Sam Cosmi,
that ain't an easy job.
It's not. That's why I say, having a guard like Cosmi, having a center like Biotish, they can get that job done. But if you're going to run on this team, moving him is the first thing you have to do. Putting him in the lap of those linebackers is what you got to do.
Yeah, it's hard to put 360 in someone's lap, but they're going to have to figure out a way to do it, right?
You got to make him stagnant.
Yeah. I think another interesting thing that we haven't really seen, but we've talked about a little bit this offseason is Brian Robinson running the football. Getting him down. I know you mentioned he's going to have a good year, but Austin Eckler too.
Yeah,
like the usage of both those guys, how they're going to fit together in this offense. Because again, we can do a lot of different stuff to get you out of what you want to do and still run the football effectively. Like we can get into what I would call like pony personnel. We got the 2 fast backs in there, no fullback. Spread you out. We still have a 7-man blocking surface. We can do some damage up there. So I expect them to use both those guys in the pass game and the run game. Maximize that group.
Do you want to attack the edges to tire out of Vita Vea early in the down? Do you want to make him do this? Like usually when offenses see us with a big D tackle, the first thing they say is, let's make him chase early, and we'll run downhill at him late.
Dude, I've told this story a million times, but it's one of the funniest stories. In 2000, to me, about like big personnel. So in 2010 or 11, we played the New England Patriots at home, and I remember we were on the first 15 plays. Kyle had us going from 12 to 11 to 10. Back to 12, 13's in there, and we were switching personnel every single time. And I was like, that's a little unusual for Kyle. Like, he likes to switch personnels, but it was a lot. So I was like, why?
Trying to get that big boy tired.
And he was like, I want Vince Wilfork to run from the field to the sideline.
Thank you.
And then back. So that's one way to do it, right? Get him off the field, make him work.
And then think about it. Not only do we got the backs to go sideways, our quarterback can go sideways. So that's what I'm saying. If I'm Tampa Bay right now, knowing what I know one thing about this. I know 2 things about this offense. I know they want to move quick. I know they want to speed the tempo up. They're a tempo team. We did show that in the preseason. We're a tempo team, and they got a mobile quarterback. Them the only 2 facts they know about us.
That's a great point.
Other than that, it's all upon us to dictate to them what are we going to do it and how are we going to do it and how are they going to stop it.
That boy good.
Ooh,
smart.
That was smart, man. So that segues really nicely into the next question, which is, what, like, obviously they've shown the tempo, they've shown the mobility of Jaden. What can we expect from Cliff, and what can we expect from Jaden in the week 1 outing?
I'm just so caught up as a defensive player because at that first game, anytime we playing a new quarterback, new offense coordinator, new head coach, we just blah. We're trying to bend but don't break. Like, how should I say? We're not on attack mode. It's like we usually be. Like if it's somebody that we already studied film, we know their offense, we're going to find weaknesses and try to attack them. You don't know our weaknesses because we haven't showed you anything. And I just think that unpredictability is at the top of the thing that's going to make them say, hey, let's play cover 2 early. Let's see what the game plan is by the half. And once we know the game plan by the half, then we're going to switch up and we're going to run what we want to run.
I just have a feeling, man. Like I think, with just seeing some of the things that I've seen Cliff do in Arizona and how, Kyler, he just rants. He bothered me at times watching him play because it looked like he was in his backyard for real, just running around making plays. But I think with the quarterback that we have now, he's going to surprise a lot of people, man. I think the way we're going to run this offense is going to be efficient. It's going to be a little more like they're going to have moments when they take advantage of that unpredictable, not being predictable enough to say, okay, we're going to speed this thing up a little bit. But I think Jaden's going to really surprise a lot of people this game 1. I think I'm feeling like 200 plus yards, man, from Jaden in the air. And it's going to be one of those games that we're going to sit there and say, And I'm not saying this is going to be something that he's going to go out there and win this game. Blah, blah. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I feel like it's going to be something that we don't even expect. Because I'm expecting him to be a rookie. I really had him back in my head.
Why wouldn't you?
It's going to be some struggling, but I really think it's going to surprise a lot of folks.
Well, here's the thing about it. I want people to not take that Cardinals offense and try to mesh it to this one because it's two different quarterbacks.
Yeah,
the one thing about Kyler he had to always do, that's why I would have never had a problem with him, is because he's short inside the pocket, he like to roll him out on boots, waggles, and stuff to move the pocket so he can have clear vision. You don't have to do that with Jaden. Jaden tall and in the pocket, he can stand in, he can scan the whole field. So therefore, giving him that ability, not forcing him to have to move the pocket like he will, now he can move the pocket as a luxury instead of as a necessity. And I think that's what they had to do in Arizona. It was a necessity to move the pocket. Here, it's going to be a plus.
Yeah, and I think you hit on both of you guys hit on some really great points there. One, I think we have stuff that we can play close to the vest, right? We haven't shown a lot of offense, right? We've shown a little bit of what Cliff's philosophy is, but he's got so many new coordinators we don't really know. So I think like Todd Bowles at his core, he wants to create pressure. He wants to stop the run, and then when you're in 3rd and long, he's going to blitz. And the blitzes are exotic. They're zone pressures, they're dog blitzes. So zone pressure means that if I'm bringing 5, I'm dropping defensive linemen out to cover zones, right? If it's a dog, I'm just adding rushers and the defensive line stays in a rush. And so they're very complicated. They're very game plan specific. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to blitz the back. We're going to make sure we keep, we dictate a slide. We dictate where the center's going, and we're going to rush the 2-man side. So that's something that I think plays to our advantage because we don't have any tendencies. We haven't shown any protection tendencies. So if anything, the blah nature of kind of saying, hey, we're going to get in our base calls, see what's going on, and then adjust as the game going on.
I think we take out fast. They could stun them. If we take out fast.
I think so. I think that's exactly right. So I think that's it. So, Todd Bowles, stop the run, bring exotic pressure. Their defensive line is pretty dynamic. They've got Kalijah Cansey, they've got Logan Hall, who was a former 1st-round pick, Vita Vea, 1st-round pick.
Shaquille Barrett?
No, I think he's gone. Yaya Diaby is the guy that's replaced him, 4th-round pick, and then the kid from UW a couple years ago, who's also a 4th-round pick. So they have 4 first-rounders on the defensive line that are playing pretty good football. They've got David. Devontae David. He's still there. He's doing a great job.
Antoine Winfield.
Antoine Winfield's absolutely crushing it. So they do have some pieces on this defense that are dynamic.
Some new corners.
But I think, and they're a good group. They're a good group. Obviously, White is out of there. He's up in Philly now. So they've got a replacement in there for him. So at the 2nd level, got some work to do. But keeping that together and then keeping the novelty is going to rein them in a little bit, which is good. And it's just about finding, I think, something for Cliff where you can use the tempo, where we can spread you out. We can get you in personnel groupings you don't want to be in. All that stuff I think is going to be super important. And then what I'd say is just Jaden, like knowing that they want to pressure you, knowing they want to do some challenging things and disguise stuff. Like how hard is that going to be?
I would get him in there and say, if you're going to see a blitz, it's rarely going to be a man-to-man blitz to start it off. It's just not. It's going to be zone blitzes. Find the hot, who is adding? Once he find the ad, the person is adding, you throw in the spot that he leaving. That's what they're gonna simplify it that much for him because, like I told you, as a defense, our hands are tied when we play running quarterbacks. We cannot play 2-man under. We can play nothing that we turn our back to them. So if we zone blitz him,
which they have shown, they've shown a little 2-man under. Like I watched last year's film,
but they nothing. Even just say cover 1. I mean, just man to man. All right, my back is turned to him. We don't want that. All right? So zone blitz, you'll see that early and often because they want to confuse him. Like if they're going to come out firing on all cylinders, saying, you know what, let's see how you handle pressure. These will be zone blitzes. The question is, how fast can he pick up on where the guy's coming from? And who do I got over there? Do I got my slot? Do I got my tight end? Or is my back finna go fill in there? That's all he needs to know.
How you feel about us having those packages more this game with the tight ends, having multiple tight ends on the field?
Yeah, I think what you want to do is kind of present novel looks to the defense. Like Fred was saying, it's the first week, right? So, like, what I do think that you're going to run into is, like, if you bring multiple tight ends on the field, you're bringing their base personnel. You're bringing heavy guys on the field.
Bringing their strength on the field.
But that's good for us in a way, right? Because think about our tight ends. Obviously, John Bates, big blocker, excels in that area. But I think Ben Sinnott can win a one-on-one matchup. I think Zach Ertz can win a one matchup. So if they're not going to match us in nickel and 13, for example, you can find good matchups. And the one thing about 13 personnel is usually you get a cover 3 response from the defense because of the extra run gaps. You have to bring that safety down the box. So I do think that is a valuable tool. I also think spreading them out is a valuable tool, getting them in that sub defense where it's 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and an extra defensive player on the field. So I think if I'm Cliff, I'm definitely trying to rotate in and out of personnels. I want to find things that give Jaden Daniels tells offensively, right? Because you talked about, fire zones and all those different things. Like the great thing about fire zones when you're bringing zones is you're usually bringing 5 rushers. And that means there's 3 underneath defenders and 3 over top defenders, which maybe is confusing for listeners, but usually it's 4 or 5 underneath defenders. So those windows underneath become a little bit more clear. So if you can get it picked up, identify the pressure, you can get the ball out. So it's really a double-edged sword. I want to use personnel to my advantage. I want to use formation to my advantage. And I want to make sure that I have an answer for the pressure. Because if we can pick it up, Jaden Daniels has shown an ability to get the ball out where it needs to go.
Pressure is find the uncomfortable space guy. Because the one thing about zone blitzing, one of these guys is going to be a defensive lineman that ain't comfortable. All right, find him. The closest man to him, you get him the block. Because he's the dude that, and guess what? After you do that once or twice, they will stop dropping him. They'll find somebody else to tell that linebacker, no, you float, let him go. So we want to make sure we address it, especially when you get ahead of things. Like if I'm a coordinator, I know I got to run a quarterback. Like some stuff I'm just ready for. Like I'm naturally ready for it because my hands are tied so much on defense. I got to hope my guys win matchups. Not me beating you with the pen. I gotta hope my guy's just better than yours.
Because you can send them guys and lose. You know what I mean? And we've been in that situation.
No, you can send them and lose. Just because you send them don't mean they're gonna win.
They don't always get home. You know what I mean? So.
And then one thing I wanted to ask you about, Tana, because you've been in this situation before, is they have a Zion McCullum is a DB that's first-year starter for them outside. If you're Cliff, are you trying to get Terry on him as much as possible?
I'm trying to get him uncomfortable quick.
Waves of wide receivers.
Not even, I often say not even just one guy. I want to see how who's the guy that he can't handle.
No, you know who's he uncomfortable with?
Who he's scared of. You know what I mean? How he's going to play certain people. Because you get some of these little young knuckleheads these days, they want that smoke. You know what I mean? But it's
they don't know enough to know enough.
It's somebody always out there for you. But I want him uncomfortable as possible by bringing different kind of receivers at him. So now he's like, because you have a guy when you watching that one guy, which might be Terry for us. You can ask Moot with this. I don't know how y'all DBs playing, but I've always assumed that when a guy know he's sticking me, he's prepared for what I bring.
You know what I mean? To the table.
But if he's like, damn, I got Diami now. Damn, I got some kids. I got all these different wide receivers now.
Where Noah Brown come
I was only studying Terry. You know what I mean? Terry is just aggressive, so I was just getting ready to fight with him. You know what I mean? You got guys quick, fast, nimble, you know what I mean? So I would make them uncomfortable as possible by bringing different kind of body types in.
No, he right. Put him in overload mode, like sensory overload. Like think about it. You get Terry, who's somebody gonna get out here and wrestle you and really put them hands on you. Then you get Diami, and some guy gonna try to run past you. Then you get a smaller receiver, like. So now it's like, okay, they kind of throwing everything at me. And that's what you want. Like I want to make sure that he's not comfortable with one person. Like when we know we're going to stick one wide receiver, I got your habits. I know what your habits, and not just your habits, the offensive coordinator, I know how he wants to get you to rock.
I'll never forget, and this was funny, man, and this is one of the good stories I have of Revis, because I always said, like, I only played him twice. Played him when he was young. His rookie season, came home, and I called my homeboy like, bro, I just played somebody named Reeves. This boy, and my homeboy Bo, he knows DBs like the back of his hand. He said, I told you to be ready for him. He's good. So he made me fight for every yard, So the next time I see him, it's year 11 for me. I just come off of my hand being broke. I'm probably 10 pounds heavier. And it's crazy, just him knowing me from then. When I get out there, he told Cromartie, man, you running with Tanner today. I'm not running with this dude. He changed sides. So that just goes to show you how DBs already think.
Study.
Like they know what they want to be. You know what I mean? Revis is he's one of those guys, I was happy he said he didn't want to run with me today. Because I know how difficult it was to get open on him. But that just goes to show you, as much as we sit here and praised him about how he can lock, they want certain guys. They don't want to be in no game where this guy finna tire me out with his speed and his quickness that I can't be myself. You see what I'm saying?
Because he was so good at the point of attack. When you talking about putting your hands on somebody, what made Revis so good, he never opened the gate. Never. He one of the few cornerbacks that stayed parallel to the line. But guess what? At that time, at that age, he understanding, all right, if I don't get my hands all the way on Tanner, I can't beat him running. So it's just you knowing the situation.
So I just brought that up just to say that's what goes on DB's head. So they like, if you giving them Terry, and he's a young buck, he might be prepared for that one guy.
And they're going to give him help.
You know what I'm saying?
They're going to give him help.
But if you bring in somebody that he ain't prepared for.
They like, nah, all right. Then he going to go to sleep.
Now he might be a little taller or his body. It's different, man. But it's great that you said that because you asked that question because I've always knew that when we face guys that know me, I'm like, bro, they just pressing me because they want to try to bother me.
Win early so they don't have to.
So I always tell the coach, like, bro, I was always a Z, so I was always off the ball. But I'm like, bro, he's pressing me, one, and he knows that our old line sucked. You know what I mean? So
Mississippi,
only thing we had was, you know, by the time they got back there, I can't get the ball because they know let's press Tanner, put some over the top, and I used to be like, coach, just move me in, slide me into the slot, slide me, do something different because they, especially when we played the Cowboys, they would always put somebody over me. We found a way to get off it, but it's just one of those, you know, things that if they know you enough, they ain't gonna be really.
They know your habits.
That's really cool because I think we talk a lot in abstraction or a lot, you know, like not specifically about, you know, different formations, different personnels, different motions. I think that's a great example, you know, real world example of how motions can help your players and confuse the defense, you know? And so we're talking about it, oh, you know, you need a motion shift. This is exactly why. And so I do think, again, like the fact that this is going to be a new thing that Todd Bowles is seeing. The Commanders' offense is going to be new. Think about all the opportunity Cliff has to do that.
That's why I said the leverage is in our hands.
And you know, like everyone talked about, like they made it very clear, we're going to take our time. We're going to really kind of keep everything close to the vest. We're not going to show a lot. This is the reason. This is the payoff. We didn't see a lot. Didn't see a lot in the preseason. But do you guys have offensively a matchup that you're like, this is the matchup we need to?
I told you, Biotish, Vita Vea. Like the point of attack. If Biotish wins that battle, not only that mean Jaden Jersey is clean, that mean the running game is healthy. We win this game. So Biotish, Vita Vea. Hey, listen, I'm talking about a sumo wrestling contest. All right, for 4 quarters in there.
It's going to be scary for sure.
It's going to be scary.
Yeah, I just say Cliff and Todd going.
Together, I like that one.
That to me, I just feel like the coordinator he's going to get in his bag. I mean, you got a young guy. I mean, they don't really know who he is until they get out there on the field with him. But at the same time, we don't know. We don't know what we can throw at him. We don't know what we can allow him to do. We don't know how much we can put on his plate.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I agree with the Vita Vea thing. I love the Cliff Todd Bowles thing because that's where the chess match is going to happen. But I also think the guards, Allegretti and Cosme, because they're 4 eyes. So you got the nose guard, the guy lies over the center, and you got your 4 eyes, which will play 3 technique or over the tackle. Are Kalijah Cansey, who's a great pass rusher, and Logan Hall, who's also a great pass rusher. And usually that's not the case.
Usually they run stoppers.
Yes, and so the fact you've got some juice there, with those guards to kind of deal with, and the center's got a 1-on-1 matchup. I think that'll be really interesting to watch. And the other guy that I just wanted to call attention to was Zach Ertz and his utilization, because I think, Anton Winfield Jr. is there. He's so fun to watch, man. He's a great run player. He's a great blitzer.
And they have him all. I played with his daddy. I basically raised him. We took him everywhere with us in Minnesota. So I know him. I know the kid very much personal. And the one thing about him, he's headed just like his daddy. Smart, but guess what? We ain't give you nothing to study. Tweezy Jr. We ain't give you nothing.
Physical too.
We ain't give you nothing to study. Physical. So now, like I said, everybody gonna be out there just trying to process, like taking in as much information as possible.
And I was going to say Zach Ertz versus Antoine Winfield Jr., but you bring up a great point, Fred. Like if I'm Todd Bowles, I don't have those matchups categorized yet.
I don't have them.
I'm going to be in like my simple cover 3, my simple fire zones, because I need to make sure we can adjust to whatever, and then maybe as the half of the game rolls on.
Now I'm finna unleash what
we're going to do it. So obviously I think a big, if there's one takeaway from that, if you're a Commanders fan, it's Cliff, Todd Bowles, how you handle the pressure, different personnels, different looks, because it's all novel, and it's going to be a great chess match to watch.
Line of scrimmage.
100%.
Trench warfare.
All right, let's talk now about the defense. And I think the defense it's almost the exact opposite. So, and what I mean by that is Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a new defensive coordinator, Liam Cohen. He was in L.A. with Sean in 2022. Then he went to Kentucky for a year, and now he's back in the NFL. And he runs a version of that Kyle Shanahan offense.
So you mean the offensive coordinator?
Yes, sorry, did I say defensive coordinator? Yeah. So that's what Tampa Bay is bringing, right?
All right.
And they have a ton of, they extended Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
They extended their left tackle, Tristan Wirfs. They extended Mike Evans. They drafted a guy in the second round, McCullen from UW.
They still got Rasheed White.
They got K. Dot, and they got Rasheed, they got Goodwin, so they are a really interesting matchup. And I think the thing that's crazy to me is their offensive line is very good.
Yeah.
They drafted a guy in the 3rd round last year from North Dakota State. He's playing left guard for him.
Yep.
Maybe my favorite offensive lineman in the draft last year. Graham Barton is playing center for him.
Yep.
Their right tackle's doing a good job. Their right guard's doing a good job. It's a group. And so when you watch them in the preseason, they're playing Miami, and they are blowing those dudes off the ball.
Bludgeoning them.
And then they have the ability now to run the football, because they were like the last. I think they were the 5th worst team last year in rushing efficiency. So they were like, nah.
Let's fix it.
So we're going to invest in that group. Rashad White's a good player, but they also have these tremendous playmakers on the outside. So if I'm Joe Witt Jr., I'm like, what do we do?
Yeah, well,
because we haven't really seen the final version of this offense. We can assume it'll look like what it did in LA. We don't know for sure.
Yeah, we don't know what it's going to look like. But I know they got Rasheed White that ball passing a lot last year. So for whatever he didn't do rushing, he filled in the gap passing. Now, Baker, the touchdown maker. All right? I like Baker.
Yeah.
But we all know this one common thread about Baker. He is better with his back against the wall. All right? Just got paid. Another new offense. I think this could be his 6th new offense.
He's had a bunch.
Like, so as much as we learning a new offense, they learning a new offense also. So they got to catch up. And I know this about Baker and them short quarterbacks. I want to keep you in the pocket. So I'm not rushing him to sack him.
Yeah.
I'm rushing him to keep him in this pocket and make him throw through the guard and the center. I want him to throw through lanes and over people. I don't want him to throw around people. I want him to throw through people.
So you saying this new coordinator is taking a little piece of
Sean McVay
and offense?
So it's next.
That's always scary.
The next tree.
That's, you know how we talk about that offense.
Oh, no, I understand that offense. That's scary. But how much of McVay? And as much as I love Mike Evans, he ain't Brandon Ayuk when it come to blocking.
Mike Evans, 1,000. He ain't wake up yet without 1,000-yard season.
We ain't talking
every year.
Yeah, we ain't talking about the wide receiving part.
Yeah.
We're talking about the run game part.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like Godwin, for as good as he is pass catching, he usually gets hurt. All the injuries he have, they usually come from run blocking.
Yeah.
He ain't the quickest guy to get in that run block. To me, what makes Sean McVay offense so dominant is what those wide receivers do in the run game.
They have a guy who can do that over there though too. He don't really need. They don't need your boy Evans. They have the other guy that does a lot of that.
Chris Godwin.
Yes,
but that's what I'm saying. Chris Godwin, his last 2 injuries then came from the run game, from his legs getting ran up on.
I think he years away from that. Now, he might be more healthier this year. I mean, last year I can see he was still getting over that injury. But he's tough. He's tough as nails. He's like that Anquan Bolton type wide receiver / that Debo type wide receiver. Very physical. His body type don't look that way, but I'm saying he catch those kind of routes. He's one of those possession guys that can also turn up. So it's tough, man. But like one of the things I just want to bring to your awareness, this offense. The thing I loved about Kyle's and Sean them offense is someone's always open. That's the thing that's about it. Someone's always open. So the way we play defense here, the way I watch these guys play defense in Dallas, it's going to be a great matchup if they're on that level out the gate. You know what I mean? Because they're going to test them to see, those drifts and those different routes that we find them. We find ways of putting you guys in stacking guys and put them in bunches. That's what's going to really show how good we are at the cornerback position.
That's why I say I believe anytime I go against a Shanahan-based offense, to me, it ain't about the defensive line and the DBs. It's about the linebackers. I've watched this defense. I mean, this offense been stopped, and every time I watch it, even if it's Shanahan on Shanahan crime, like when I see like the 49ers and the Rams play, the linebackers are the one making all the plays, are changing the game. So if you're telling me I got to put this on Wagner and Louvu, I feel good about this.
What did Green Bay do against Kyle to stop Kyle last year?
I don't know.
Who won that game?
I have to go back and watch the game.
I've been saying
because I remember
it was a close game.
It was a close game, and then it got out of hand.
I think what they did with Green Bay did a good job of. They put it in Debo's them hands and say, "We ain't gonna let you beat us with Christian McCaffrey."
Yeah.
But if you beat us with Debo and Ayuk, so be it.
But I think that's the whole thing with the offense is they want to run the football, right? And you mentioned receivers blocking, and so obviously Sean's iteration of this offense, the receivers got to block. They're blocking like duo, and Ayuk's like leading on linebackers. You know, with McCaffrey, it's a little bit more traditional gap power stuff, a little less duo. There's a little bit more outside zone with a jet sweep. And then we go down to Miami, and it's all perimeter runs. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
Way different. So it all take different iterations. I think that's what's interesting about Liam Cohen here in Tampa Bay, is that he might be like, hey, we're just going to get in like 2 tight end sets and run the football more traditional.
Yeah, run stretch
and run stretch because unlike LA's offensive line, which is like this big hulking power gap scheme line, Tristan Wirfs can run now.
No, I know what Tristan Wirfs can get out.
Cody Mock can run. Yeah, Grant Barton can run, so they can do some, and they're also very powerful. So I think they're going to have a wide array of stuff at their disposal. I think they're going to lean more on the play action stuff, like Tana's saying with the drifts.
That's how you get Baker to get deep down the field, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's not going to look like it did in LA where you have Matt Stafford. It's not going to look like it did in San Francisco where you got Brock Purdy. It'll look like its own thing. So I went back and I watched the LA Rams game versus the Dallas Cowboys from last year because I'm like, it's essentially very similar. Very similar. And I was like, man, they played a ton of man-to-man coverage in this game, the Dallas Cowboys. And I wanted to get you guys' take. Do you think they can play that much man with this group, or do you think they're going to be running a little bit more zone?
I think you can play man, especially when we telling that free safety, find Mike Evans.
But not all the time, though, right?
Not all the time, but it's a certain lean. I don't need you to be completely over me. But if we know this dude finna get 12 chances to burn the right corner, you might need to be helping out the right corner. Right. Because that's where the target's going to go. All right, Chris Godwin do most of his damage inside. All right. Well, Mike Evans is outside and deep. All right. That's what we cannot give up. We cannot we cannot go on the road and give up big plays to Mike Evans.
And he's actually gotten much better too about running that deep in cut, which is a huge feature of this offense. Yeah. So
I'm not playing that man unless I know we getting home. And unless I know that we don't see if you playing man a lot, then you know that we got Baker where we want him at. You know, when we're gonna pressure him because that's something that he's not good with getting that ball.
That's who I want to get out there.
You know what I mean?
That's who I want.
But I'm saying that because I'm not 100% confident yet. Yeah. And this is just my opinion about how we really looking outside.
And that's fine until they show you. You know, it is what it is.
Not saying these guys not capable. I want to say I'm not from man to man. Yeah, I'm not comfortable yet. I want to see these guys play a game in this new scheme and say, okay, we can play man with these guys now. You know what I'm saying?
But that's why I would rather have 6 knockdowns. Knocking down passes, meaning the D-line. They're not rushing for sacks. They're rushing to crowd this pocket.
You talking about the defensive front?
Yeah, the deep front. I would rather for them to have 6 PBUs than 4 sacks. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, y'all just don't know how 1 pass knocked down, 2 pass knocked down. Man, these are third down. We off the field. Yeah. Like, they change games. Like, I'm going to suffocate Baker Mayfield in this pocket. And if you're going to beat me out of the pocket, so be it. But you will not get out of this pocket. And we blitzing. I have to blitz play action. If I feel a play action coming, I'm going to blitz it.
Yeah. I think you guys brought up really great points there. And, one of the things about, Tana's not saying we can never play man. Yeah, it's just about when we sprinkle it in.
You need to be selective.
You need to be selective. And I think that's what I would expect too, Tana. Yeah. The other thing you mentioned about batted balls, and I think maybe the most important matchup in this game, and we're not quite there yet, so I'm jumping the gun, my bad, is one of the things that short quarterbacks have a hard time with is internal pressure. Yes. And we got Duran and John, and I think, they've looked great. No one's seen them in the preseason, but they look great in practice. Yeah. And so I would expect them, they're matching up with some
good guys.
Some guards inside but they're young players.
Yeah, I would say Barton, teach him a lesson.
Yeah, and so can we make him work a little bit? Can we compress that pocket? Because, Tristan Wirfs, that's a tough matchup, man. Yeah, he's one of the best offensive linemen in football. But if we can create pressure, collapse the pocket, limit those throwing windows from him, and again, there's a bunch of different ways to do that. Like, I went back and watched Frankie Louvu highlights the other night because I'm doing a breakdown for Coach's Show, and he's one of the best blitzing linebackers in the NFL. Yeah. Can we get him on a back? Can we get him on Rashid White? Can we get him in there again? Compress that pocket, get him on Baker's feet. Yeah, like short quarterbacks, you look at them historically, they've got great guards on the interior to keep pocket depth. Not so much pocket width, pocket depth. So I think we can definitely take advantage of that. And to Tana's point, then I would feel more comfortable. We could play a little bit man coverage because he can't see it as well.
Yep. And Rashad, if he got any weakness right now, it's pass block.
Yeah, I can say pass block.
Yep. Yep. And so I jumped the gun a little bit. That's my key matchup is those two guys inside. Do you guys have a matchup that you're kind of keeping an eye on, Sam?
All right, when it comes to our defense versus their offense, like yours key inside with Deron Payne and John Allen?
Yeah.
I'll go second level.
Okay.
I'll go Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, stopping screens, running down when they trying to attack the edges, blowing stuff up, keeping Baker in the pocket. I'm going with Wagner.
And I got to give Tana a shout out here, and you too, but like, one of the things about Bobby Wagner's he's super smart. So he's got to understand, hey, that double team on the guard doesn't look quite right. This play action. Let me get out of here. Let me get under the throwing window. And the other thing about having him in the building is now I can tell Frankie Louvu, I can tell Dominique Captain, I can tell whoever is in there. Like that, this is what we're looking at.
Scratch what you said. You stay right here.
Because that's where they're trying to get the ball there. So I think that's a good
matchup is going to be how we play Mike Evans with our corner. You know what I mean? Not necessarily one guy in particular. You know what I mean? Just
all of them.
What we gonna throw at them? You know what I mean? Because I feel like we have the capability. I just want to see these guys out there in action. I really want to see these guys. That's my biggest. Like you know how you have an asterisk by somebody?
Yeah.
I just want to see our cornerback play as a whole. You know what I mean? No particular person, just how they play now in this defense. Because one of the things we always said
is built for St. Juice.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I want to just see what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? How we gonna go up against that kind of talent?
Is he one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL?
Hands down,
dude. It blows my mind. Like he is so consistent.
I tell you one thing though. You know how Fred always bringing about jaywalking. He gonna jaywalk into the Hall of Fame. I know that much. He gonna walk into that. He gonna moonwalk into that thing. I mean, it's gonna be like one of those things, man.
He's just good, but his name ain't flashy.
Yeah.
What did I tell you about name?
Then the market in. You know,
like. You hate it when I say this, Logan.
It's so funny.
Regular names don't eat in this league.
It just pops up like we're like talking about receivers. You've talked about quarterbacks regularly. Now it's just like,
think about it. Mike Evans' numbers are compared to anybody's. But guess what? They just like, his name is Mike Evans. Like they don't want, like if his name was Santango Jenkins or something, we'd be like, yeah, man, it's Jay.
I don't know if I told you this. I wanted to tell you this, but like I was on Instagram the other day, and there was a cut up of him from Miami, like returning punts and catching touchdowns, and I was like, Santana Moss is a sick name though. Like I was like, this because the announcer kept going, Santana Moss going deep.
Listen, it works.
It's so crazy.
Have you seen that cut up by the way?
Yeah,
dude, it was
they asked
sick.
me to
no, he said they actually
collab me. They collab with me, but no, it's crazy when you listening to it on TV. Like I said, I never watched myself on the. I watched the cut up, but now I get a chance to reflect. So I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, that damn Fred was right. This name rings like a mother. It's like the guy just like every time they come out of their mouth, it's like,
dude.
You know what I'm saying?
I had the same thought when I was watching that.
It sounds like a sports car. It sounds like a sports car. Like you could tell, like dudes would be like, I just be like, Coach, who we got this week? And he'll tell me his name. I'd be like, he just regular. Like it just if the name wasn't threatening to me.
Devontae Adams, is that a good name?
That's just different. So it's something about that. Devontae.
Jerry Rice.
Come on.
That's pretty regular.
Just go.
That's pretty regular.
But guess what? You don't know but one Rice.
That is true.
All right, that's all I'm saying. You don't know but one Rice. Who legitly got the most regular name that's a superstar? Is it Mike Evans?
Tom Brady. Mike Evans is pretty regular too, though. Mike Evans is up there.
But Tom Brady name, that Brady now, it don't look the same. Like,
it's got a different.
It doesn't look the same.
Different shine on it.
Like even Aaron Rodgers got this.
Yeah, I was gonna say
about it.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud. He's just okay.
The initials help with that.
Yes,
CJ.
like AJ Brown. Like who you got this week? Shit, I got AJ Brown.
Peyton Manning. That's
Peyton. Yes, yes. Eli. Yes. Like even Cecil Collins. Like going back to dudes like that. Like a name sells everything, man. But guess what? Guess who they not cheering for? The quarterback, Mike White. Because all of us know a Mike White. Like I know like 20 Mike Whites.
Yeah, I got a couple of Mike White from friends.
Yeah. Like, I think about it. My homeboy ex-teammate, Rock Cartwright.
Yeah.
His real name is Roderick. But Rock has a more pop. Yes, it has something to it, man. Guys, we play with.
So you should just be Mike Evans' publicist then. We got to change it.
We should have changed his name to
Mikhail.
Something.
Mikhail Evans.
Mikhail Evans.
M.I. Evans. It could just been M.I. Evans. Yeah. And it's like, we would have been like,
that boy M.I.?
M.I.? That boy right there. Todd Gurley, like certain names.
No, I'm with you.
B. John Robinson.
Because I don't understand. People put that he's one of the best. He's maybe the best receiver of the generation.
Yeah,
and people don't talk about him. And maybe Tampa Bay is a small market. I don't know.
No, Julio Jones was in Atlanta. That ain't a big football market. Yeah. Julio Jones. Who you got? Julio. We gonna pray for you. This Tyreek Hill, like that Reek got something to it. Yeah.
Does
the threat?
So hopefully our receivers are giving, or our DBs are giving him his due respect, even though he's got a regular name.
Yeah, we need to call Mikey or something.
They watching that tape.
Mikey E or something.
They done saw him.
All right, now for our final segment, and I'm excited to do this segment because it's different than our former game predictions, which were tough sometimes. So we're gonna do Hell Yeah.
Santana hated it.
Hell no.
Hell no. So Hell Yeah or Hell No.
Hell yeah.
So I'm gonna read a question.
Yeah.
And you say, in order to win the game, do we need to do the X? Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to say hell yeah or hell no. Mm-hmm. All right. This defense should not allow more than 21 points and have at least 2 turnovers. Do they need to do that to win the game?
We are playing them on the road.
Yeah.
Anything over 29?
Hell yeah.
Hurt?
Hell
dude,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, this is the thing about this. When we did our production meeting, this drove me nuts. I didn't say this. I kept it inside.
You didn't know what the difference was.
I kept it. No, for me, I'm like, yeah, obviously, if they score less than 21 points and we have 2 turnovers, hell yeah, we're going to win the game. Yeah. But do we need it to win the game?
Oh. Hell yeah.
So let me go back then. Let me backtrack a little bit. Hell no. We don't need it to win.
Yeah, because we could score 28.
But I would love to.
Dude, I would love it.
That would secure the win.
Like if Forbes had a pick and then like a ball gets tipped up
and the fumble open, yeah, that gives us a chance to win.
Got a chance to play some ball there.
To them no.
Hell no. But do I want to see it? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm going hell yeah.
Okay. All right, this one's I don't know. Okay, Brian Robinson needs at least 50 yards rushing.
Hell yeah.
This feels like a hell yeah.
I say hell yeah because his 50 hurt different than everybody else 50.
Yeah.
Right? The way he leans on us defensive backs, like we could take it the first quarter, second quarter, we fine. Third and the fourth, we start the Olay. And when you start the Olay, you making business decisions.
Dude, I say hell yeah for the simple fact if he has 50 or more, then we in good hands.
And we took it out of Jaden's hands. Yeah, and that's what I want.
Yeah, like kind of like a canary in the coal mine type thing, right? Like it's like a signal of something else. It means if he's getting 15 carries, we've been on the field for a bunch of first downs.
Yeah,
and we protecting the quarterback.
Protecting the quarterback. On the road. Far as I guess you can say possession. Holding the ball.
No, we're keeping the ball
and just running that clock too.
Yeah,
you got to think.
So hell yeah.
This is like I just thought of this right now. Is there a number of rushing yards that's too much for Jaden Daniels in week 1? Is there?
Ain't such thing.
But I'm saying if he's getting too many touches.
I can't say that because it's the same guy I watched break a 90-yarder against Florida. So, man, just run.
His attempts, you got to kind of like let them happen because some of the times now we trying to run them, then So if we're forcing him
design runs,
like 5 or more, then come on, Cole, we're doing too much.
Yeah.
But if he just
breaking out the pocket
and get out of there,
play breakdown, it's totally different. That breaks defenses' backs.
Yeah.
All right, when the quarterback runs like that and it's like 3rd and 5 and he ran, just watch our head. Our head just shakes.
That was one thing about like when Michael Vick played, everyone's like, oh, if he had design runs, he'd be so much better. I always felt get him an empty, spread him out, run vertical, and let that man
just let him take off.
So I kind of feel like that's better because the defense isn't ready for it.
No, we're not.
All right. Terry needs over 60 receiving yards. Hell yeah.
No. Hell no.
Hell no?
I don't think we need that to win because if you're spreading it out, and 4 of my guys got 55 yards apiece.
I say hell yeah. We don't need it to win, but I think we need it to offensively be doing what we're doing. Like I said, it's 2 guys in that offense that I want to see produce, have a good production that day. Is one in the run game, B-Rob, and Terry in the passing game. Because you got to get your guys active. You got to make sure that because if those guys have their yards, then offensively we're doing our job. We're putting up points. We're moving the ball if they have their yards. If you saying it's spread it out and we still doing that, then hey, I'm not mad at you, but I feel you have to have those guys active and doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I feel like if I got 65 plus yards from all of my tight ends, I got out the backfield with Austin Eckler with 50-plus receiving yards, him and B-Rob. I got on an average of 40 yards with 3-4 wide receivers or 2 wide receivers. I think we can get the win.
No doubt. No doubt.
I always feel like me as a corner, if somebody trying to force it to one player, we play better that way. I think we always play better that way because you remember when I was talking about sliding that safety? If I know y'all going to if we're going to give Terry 15 attempts, we're going to play around him.
Yeah.
All right? Now, the guy on the backside got to do his job one-on-one, but I just think spreading it out make that defense make us honest.
But you can't take what I'm saying wrong. I'm not saying.
Oh no, I ain't taking it wrong.
Force it or try to lean on him. I'm just saying if he has those kind of yards, then offensively, like with both of those guys, either one of them, if B-Rob has over 50-something yards rushing, we in good hands offensively. Now you know that it's somebody on that team has taken over the game, and we're not worried about Jaden being a savior. You know what I mean? He's giving the ball to the playmakers and letting them do their thing.
Yep. Yeah, for me, the 50 or the 60 receiving yards is more of an indication of Cliff finding matchups and like making sure that your guys getting touches. I think that's more what I would kind of point that to. It's the same thing with B-Rob. Like if he's getting 15 touches, 50 yards, like I want to see a certain number of touches for those guys, especially week 1. You know what I'm saying? You got a guy like that. Terry is like the best receiver on the team. He can win one-on-one matchups. So much of what Cliff's offense is predicated on is finding a good matchup and then exploiting it. I think it'll be a really good sign of a good game plan from Cliff, and that's more what I'm excited to see.
But do you need it?
I mean, you don't need
to win.
So shoot, I don't need Brian Robinson to rush 50.
You need somebody to rush.
Like
you don't have to be B-Rob.
Or Jalen does it, like that's a different thing.
Yeah,
you know
if Eckler does it, I don't care.
And so, or maybe we run a lot of screens, or maybe there's a quick game. Like you don't need any of these things, but I do think there's a health to the offense that these statistics would show potentially. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with y'all.
All right. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
This is producer Jason just throwing a curveball here.
Oh, yeah. That's what he does.
Is this a must-win game for Jaden's confidence?
Hell no.
Hell no. Why? Is it?
No.
You think yes?
I want him to get his first win as quick as possible. Like, I want him to get that first win up and out the way because I done seen rookie quarterbacks chase that first win. Like, I done seen guys get to week 6.
Like you think he'll start pressing, basically.
Yes. Then he'll start playing out of character and trying to be the hero. Yeah. I don't want him to be the hero. I want him to go and get that, I done won my first game. Now let me just get better each and every game. Yeah. I just think, and you know how the media can do a narrative. So if the narrative go, when is the first win ever coming? It starts to just ink downhill. So I just think it's for his confidence and for that to never be a storyline.
Yeah, I'm just against it. I don't think he needs it to have confidence. I think he's one of those guys. He's a headstrong kid. He seemed like a guy that has a different kind of demeanor. He's not finna be too much pressing. You know what I mean? Like you see guys that press, and you get nothing out of pressing. I mean, that's why I hated being one of those guys that you try to force me. I used to tell coach, look, if I'm not open, don't throw me the ball. But don't. I'm never coming to the quarterback saying, bro, throw me the ball. No, I don't want him trying
to force it
to me.
Yeah.
So
picks happen.
When I look at a guy like Jaden, I don't see him as one of those kind of guys. Just his demeanor alone, and I don't think he needs. I think he understands the game. You know, and you understand this. We all understand this. It's not him that will be losing. I know the media always throw that at the quarter where he lost. Like I hear all the time, Dak hasn't won a playoff game.
The Cowboys have not.
Hasn't won a playoff game. Now I understand when you're saying that he's put him in situations for them to lose. Yeah. But I don't think Jaden necessarily needs this win, or it's a must win for his confidence to be shook or not.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I also think Fred, and I don't like doing this, but I kind of agree with what she said too. Like I think that's a really good point.
No, he hit it on the head. Yeah, I love what Fred said.
You don't want him to press. And so and I think the coaching staff, I think the team around him is strong enough to kind of help insulate him, but you don't want him to press at all. Before we wrap up, anything else you want to bring up about this game that you're keeping an eye on?
It's just something about Tampa and Washington. I feel like we played them every year of my career.
Oh, really?
I feel like every first game of the season.
Were you part of that?
Tampa.
Were you part of that game where the Washington team lost on a 2-point conversion by Mike Alstott? Were you on that team?
I was on that team.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Listen, two teams we play that ain't in our division that I just feel like we married to the hip with. Tampa Bay and Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. We play them no matter what.
That's true.
I've always had good outings against Tampa, so hopefully when
I always had good outings against them because of Keyshawn and the rest of the guy. You had this big old wide receiver. I'm like, man, big receivers don't cause me no problem.
Yeah, so I don't got nothing to bring to attention. I just hope you go out there and have a good one, man.
Yeah. Let's start out 1-0, man. New era, new everything.
I want to see what I've been waiting on to see, man. A great team effort. You know what I mean? Those guys go out there, fly around in all phases, man. And have
any rookie besides Jaden that you want to see welcome themselves? Because I want
that's zero. That's zero.
That's zero. Right now,
Agent zero.
I can't wait to introduce the world to Mike Sandersteele. Yeah. I cannot wait.
Yeah. And
what about you, in a rookie?
To me, I want to see Tyler Owens on teams. Like, he was so dominant in the preseason. Like, so dominant. I can't wait to see him play. But, yeah, I agree with Tana. Like, I've been waiting for this for so long. We've covered the, Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, the hiring, the draft, the free agency, and now it's here. Yeah. And I just want to see those dudes run around like a bunch of crazy dogs like they did against the Jets in that first preseason game. Like, I want to see that. Like, let them go eat. But that's going to do it for today's show. Please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment wherever you get your podcasts. And we really appreciate all the support for the show. And that's it.